Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about credit. So I think people are overthinking credit. So as a mortgage lender in 48 states, all I do is talk to people all day long. You know, I have a calendar that's open. I say this all the time, but it's, guys, get on the calendar if you have questions. And I look at a lot of the questions, and a lot of them are super hyper focused on credit. Which FICO do you use? What time do you pull? Is the moon aligned? It's too much. It's too much. So I'm going to tell you guys the fundamentals right now of what a lender's looking for. It's really simple. Really simple. Pay your bills on time, guys. That's it. Pay your bills on time. And if someone's like, oh, well, I didn't in the past, but I am now, great. You are one step closer with credit. That is what we're looking at. We're looking at 1 to 2 years, really, is what I'm looking at with a microscope to make sure you've been paying your bills within the last 2 years. There's no magic equation that's going to erase if you haven't been paying your bills in the last 2 years. You know, one of our clients showed me this website. He's like, oh, check this out. It's like they're selling authorized users. You can be an authorized user on a stranger's account that has good credit to build your credit. What? Like, stop with the shenanigans. Just stop. It's really, really simple. So let's pretend you have no credit. Should you start off by being an authorized user on a stranger's account? No. Should you get on like a friend's account or your mom's or someone else who doesn't have good credit? No. If your parents have great credit and pay off their bills every month and they want you to be an authorized user, okay, but most people don't have that. So what should you do? Start with like a basic credit card. If you go on to NerdWallet and you put in no credit, they'll have suggestions. For your first card, if you're brand new, fresh, you shouldn't have to get a secured credit card. Usually Discover has a starter card. You're gonna put 1 tank of gas on it. You're gonna pay it off every month. You're gonna do that for 6 months to a year, and then you're gonna open up a second card and do the same thing. You're gonna set up auto pay like 10 days before your bill is due, so that is always paid. But you are also gonna check every month to make sure the auto pay works, okay? It's that easy. Seriously. I've seen so many forms recently where they've made it this incredibly complicated situation, and it's just not, okay? Now look, that's if you have no credit. That is how I would say start your credit. Don't buy a car. A lot of people go, oh, well, you need to have a car to get it. No, you don't. You don't need to have a car to get a house. Do not get a car loan, because what I see more and more is these crazy $1,000 payments. Yeah, $1,000 payments. It's more than they qualify for a house. So don't get a car. And then sometimes people go, oh, well, I heard you have to see a variety of trade lines. So I have 4 Visa cards, a Macy's card, a Kohl's card, a No. Stop. Stop the madness. Do you guys remember that from the 90s if you're old like me? Susan Powell? Anyways, don't. You don't need store cards. We're not looking for store cards. We're literally looking for just 1 or 2 credit cards that you have responsibly managed. That is what credit is for. You don't need to show us that you charge a bunch and then you pay it off. You don't have to show that you have revolving and installment. Literally. You could qualify for a house with 2 cards, even 1 card, and over a 1-year credit history. Now look, there's some lenders that will go, oh, well, you can do it quicker if you do an authorized user and you do this and that. Guys, let's just keep this simple, right? If you have to invest 1 year in your credit to buy a house where everything you did was on you and you did a great job, isn't it worth it? Instead of trying to do one of these weird ways where like maybe they'll realize it's an authorized user, maybe they won't. Because like underwriters do pay attention to that. So if your credit's all authorized user, there's certain loans where you won't qualify because of it. So really be careful about that. Now, let's say you don't have good credit, right? We've all been there, guys. I've been there. I know the pain. Okay, you gotta clean it up. It's that simple. There's no magic. You know, the debt renegotiation, oh my God, I did that in my 20s. Worst mistake, worst mistake. Debt renegotiation is a scam. It will screw up your credit for a long time. Do not do it. We do have a credit expert that we recommend. We do not take a cut or anything like that. But if you have a bunch of collections, really complicated credit history, there's some people that are like, just pay it all off. That's not always the right move, because a lot of this stuff has time periods if you have bad credit. And when I say bad, I don't mean 680. I mean like 550 and below, okay? 550 or below, generally something traumatic has happened. Now, you want to talk to a credit expert to start cleaning that up. But then in fairness, like, you could be at a 550 because you have a medical collection from 3 years ago and that's all that's on there. Something like that's a little bit easier. You would start with a secured credit card that reports, and then you'd move to a normal credit card, okay? There's very simple ways to get you guys where you want to be. So this video isn't to yell at you, although I think I've been a little yelly. It's just, I see so much madness right now with everyone making it so much more complicated than it is. You can have a 740 credit score, but if you haven't been paying your bills and we're seeing that credit score go down, it's just as bad as if you have a 550. Okay? The most important thing is that you're paying your bills on time for the last 2 years. You need a good explanation for the past, but if we can show you're properly using credit for the last 2 years, you're generally going to be in a pretty good position. Okay? Now, what are some other things to watch out for? Don't max out. Right? And I know that's easier said than done. Most of the time, people are already maxed out on their credit cards and they still are going, oh, I need to get that sweater. I'm going to go get another credit card. Knock it off. Go check out Dave Ramsey Baby Steps. If you're looking at your credit, write down every single credit card you have. Write down the limit. If you are near the limit on all of those cards, you are maxed out and it's time for you to go do Dave Ramsey Baby Steps or something like that. Okay? It is not time to open up another credit card. There is not a magical thing that's going to get you out of this. You're going to have to put in the hard work. You're going to have to rice and beans it, and you're going to have to pay it down. Okay? Now, if your credit cards are near the limit, does that mean you can't get a house? No. If you still qualify for the house, even if your credit cards are maxed out, if your score is within range, you're fine. Okay? So there's a lot to this, but the bottom line is this. It's not as complicated as some of these forms are making it, and I've talked to some people where like they've got great credit. They're like it is 770 and they're like, I just want to get to 800 before I apply for a house. It's not going to change their rate. It's not going to change whether or not we approve them. It's just they have, because this form told them 800's better, that they have to hit this goal that actually doesn't change the terms or the rates at all. That's what you want to watch out for is it becoming a quest for perfection that's just going to basically push you out of the market forever, okay? Now look, something to be really cognizant about as well, don't be ashamed of your credit ever. Credit's just a reflection of where our life has been. And let me be blunt, some people are very blessed. They're raised with a family that teaches them about credit, or they learn about credit at an early age, and they never have any drama. And for them, it can be really hard to understand how other people can have drama. I get it. You get raised with, no one tells you anything, or your parents have bad spending habits, right, where they max everything out. And then you maybe go to school or you get your first job. And here's the thing, when you turn 18, every debtor in America, my goodness, they want to give you money. Yes, they do. You know why? Because they want to get you in debt. That's right. I remember going to UC Santa Barbara. That's where I went to school. And they had all these booths. Here's a credit card. Here's a credit card. Here's a credit card. As an 18-year-old girl, I thought it was Christmas. I was an idiot, but it's okay. It's part of life, and a lot of us have been there, so don't be ashamed. You just have to get on the path back. So if you're looking at these forms or chat things where they're just making it overly complicated and unattainable, it's not. You just need a plan. So I hope this video was helpful. One more thing to tell you guys. When you're not, if you're not thinking of applying for a house in the next 6 months, freeze your credit, please. Just your credit should be frozen at all time. If you're trying to build it and you have to open up 2 cards, fine. freeze it right afterwards. Your credit shouldn't be open at any time. And the reason I say that is because hackers are really talented. They can crack in, steal your identity, screw up your credit, and that will haunt you for a long time. You have to file a police report. It's a whole thing. I know people who've had their credit compromised. It's a living nightmare. So freeze your credit, guys, and don't get psyched out by the forms. Thanks for watching.